Hello, class. I hope everybody is doing good, and we are almost close to finishing this spring semester. In this time, we covered a lot, and I just want to review on the syllabus to convey to you that we covered most of the things, and whatever that is remaining, I'll be covering in the next class. So let me share with you the syllabus. So we covered the development of modern biotechnology, in which we talked about the history and the significance of biotechnology, particularly molecular biotechnology, the role of DNA, whether it is human or bacteria. Bacteria could be plasmid to engineer recombinant DNA, or it could be human in terms of gene therapy. We went into the details of recombinant DNA technology with regards to various kinds of vectors and gene libraries and so on and so forth. Then we talked about chemical synthesis, sequencing, amplification. We talked about manipulation of gene expression with regard to fusion proteins and organization of vectors in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Then recombinant protein. We also talked about protein engineering, monoclonal versus polyclonal antibodies. In the last class, we talked about microbial biotechnology, and before that, we talked about transgenic plants and transgenic animals. We talked about medical biotechnology, for example, human gene therapy, gene delivery methods, and tissue engineering in terms of stem cell biotechnology. So what I see that briefly what is remaining is human molecular genetics and forensic DNA profiling, which are small chapters that we will cover in the last class, that is May the 11th will be your last class for this spring 2021. And today I'm covering the regulation of patents and society. So, so we have covered quite a bit in this semester, and I hope you have submitted all your assignments, and I look forward that everybody does pretty good in this class. So let me share with you the PowerPoint slides. So patents, biotech patents and regulation, they are very much interlinked, integrated, because once a technology is developed, the person or the team that develops the technology wants to take the copyright, just as in music, right? So music or any item that is available on the, let's say if you go to Staples, you see kind of some gadgets, or you go to Best Buy. So behind those products that come on the at the market level, at the store level, there's a story behind each product. And the story is that that product has been developed meticulously with an individual or teamwork. And so this team that has invested so much of time and resources want to take advantage. And so they need to secure their identity, their stamp on that product. So that is patenting. That is officially you record that this belongs to you or the team or partnership. And then how this is regulated federally, because if this is left unchecked, then there will be a lot of conflict and it will be very difficult for the legal system to solve. Right? So there's a process, just like we file our taxes on, let's say, 15th April. This year we're filing, the deadline is 17th May. So unless we file the taxes, So we file the taxes to a particular institute that is called as IRS. For filing patenting, the institute is called as, or the federal office is called as, or federal institution is called as United States Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO. Let me give you an example. So during the course of this, while teaching you this course of molecular biotechnology, I often talked about human insulin. So there's a product that is called as humulin that is produced by recombinant DNA technology that also we have discussed. So when this product is generated and a person is having a sugar problem, so he or she will take this human insulin, which is recombinant DNA origin, right? So one way to take is to inject the insulin through the skin, right? So that it goes below the skin, that is dermis or below epidermis. So this is an invasive process where somebody has to pierce the needle. And let's say if this person has sickle cell anemia, so you don't want to lose RBC. Let's say if this person has thrombocytopenia, low platelet count, then there has to be a clotting. So this piercing of needle is tough for people who have comorbidities, right? So what scientists are doing, also, now diabetes is also happening in kids. So and it is painful to pierce with needle. And in old cases, in old individuals, the skin can lose collagen because of aging factors. So putting a needle is very tough because the skin is very loose. So scientists are trying to develop, let's say, insulin patch, or to take insulin through nasal route, so there is no invasive process. So the point I'm making is, this is insulin and this is also insulin, but a scientist has developed an innovative protocol for consumption. So despite the product is same, insulin, but the route is different, that makes a lot of difference to the society. So the idea behind this could be protected. And the individual who devises this insulin will get benefit. So patenting is about protecting our ideas, right? If we don't protect ideas and it goes into public domain, so anybody can take advantage. And you being the sole inventor could face loss. So this chapter, so this syllabus, if you see, we talked about various consequences or various approach to biotechnology, or what are the dimension in which biotechnology has spread out. But the idea is to develop a tool or technologies to help human society. So we need to protect our ideas with a simple document that is called as patent. And who issues this document? That document, this is issued by USPTO, United States Patent and Trade Organization. But one should always remember that developing ideas is easy, but may not be easy. Also, everybody has a potential to look for an idea. An idea can come by reading literature, or being a sharp observer to notice what is that society needs, what is the gap. Let's say if something is very expensive or something is not perfect, how to improve. So ultimately, thorough research can give rise to idea. But there are some people who can have idea at the flash of a time. There are various examples. So, but regardless, one has to have has to have an idea and do the search, because why one would like to make a progress on an idea where the product is already there? It will be a waste of time. So it's very important to search whether that idea, when you conceive that idea, to think that if you invest time, energy, money, resources, are you carbon copying? And if you're ignorant, then it could hurt you. So it's very important that one does a thorough search, that that product doesn't pre-exist. Otherwise, you don't make any advancement and you don't get the advantage of or profit. So, and also to build a prototype. So an idea has to be to you or your team, because if it goes into public domain, that the loser is you and your team. Once that idea becomes doable, it fits into the proof of principle, then one can apply for provisional patent, and also do a limited marketing and to find investors, because unless there are investors, you need resources, and then you file for patent, and you can sell that product, or you can develop into your own company. So it could be filing non-provisional patent to prosecute non-provisional patent, then to get the patent number from USPTO. So just like each one of us have our social security or tax ID number, so each product, new product, innovative product has its patenting number. So in academia, in a person like faculty, a faculty has to do the research, develop the proof of principle, then disclose the invention to let's say to the university lawyer or the school lawyer, and then and if the technology is assessed and there is support, then file for provisional patent, the non-provisional patent, then one can go into marketing, commercialization. So there has to be a business development model to follow. It cannot be haphazard. It cannot be taken lightly, especially in today's world, where getting resources is very expensive. So one has to have vision. One has to have an image from the practicality point of view. Then there has to be a plan and a system that works, right? And then implement. And if it works, then you have to protect your idea, and that is by patent law. So there are three different kinds of patents in the United States. One is utility patent, which covers the functional aspect of product. A design patent, which covers only the ornamental design for useful objects. The plant patent, which discovers new variety of living plant. So there are three potential patents. And the rule is, the statute is 35 USC Patent Code. The rule is 37 CFR. So I won't go into the details of this because I would like to cover from biology point of view. And one of the very unique disease, a rare disease that I would cover is a genetic disorder buildup in which fat is not utilized. And there's a buildup of fat called as globotriacetamide, globotriacetamide in the body because of lack of enzymes that digest fat, and ultimately this uneven distribution of fat leads to rashes and problem. So an enzyme was developed called as Fabry enzymes. So these Fabry enzyme can digest the fat, and it was noted that this generated $993 million in fiscal year 2013, almost 5 to 10,000 kids are diagnosed worldwide, and 51% of these kids are female, and 50% of our patients are currently treated with ERT. This enzyme, Fabrizyme, was developed by Mount Sinai, and with support from Genzyme in Boston. And Mount Sinai is the inventor, but within Sinai there is a scientist that developed this. So this research study is designed to evaluate the effects of Fabrizyme on the GI symptoms in male patients who do not have treated with. So this is ERT, means enzyme replacement therapy. Fabrizyme is an enzyme that acts on fat. The second example that was an enzyme, that's a product based. This is HeLa cells. So these HeLa cells, they are derived from cervical cancer. And these cells are present in every cancer lab. These cells, these are epithelial cells derived from cervical cancer. And these cells serve as an amazing tool within a cancer biology lab, but from where these cells were made available. So these cells were from Henrietta Lack, who was a patient in a hospital, and she was suffering from cervical tumor. So the physician scientists, they took the cervical tumor and from there developed this cell line, right? And surprisingly, the patient, Henrietta Lack, was not made aware of this, right? So HeLa cells, to say the least, HeLa cells were most useful to develop polio vaccines. So the story is that some physician scientists took out the tumor and took the tumor to the lab and developed a cell line, and all these in the process, the person whose tumor was unknown, and people were worldwide using this cell line. So that's not a fair process. So there are many articles that are being written by on using HeLa cells. So I have attached an article in the Blackboard. So about this story about Henrietta Lack cells, which are HeLa cells. Okay. So what is the definition of patent? So patent is a document that establishes your authority on that discovery. You are the inventor. And the document, the institution that grants the patent is called as USPTO. Now each product should have a trademark. For example, if you see Pepsi or Coke, they have so much identical their drink, right? There's soft drinks, but if you look at their can, they're so different, and you can identify these cans from very distant. So a trademark is a unique symbol that defines that product. For example, polo T-shirts, right? They have a person on a horseback. So these are unique identity symbol that signifies that product is called as trademark. So first you have to have an idea. That idea should be competitive. It should not be repetitive. And then that idea should work. And then one can apply for a non-provisional patent, then provisional patent. And then once the patent is applied and there's a potential to grow, because when a product has the ability, you can make a company, and that company can employ so many people, and it can change the neighborhood. So so some of the trademarks you can see very popular here. For example, Friends, the cereal that is very popular, and And this is something that nobody can reproduce, right? So an idea in terms of legality is called as intellectual property. And it belongs to the person who conceives that idea. It's totally his or her design. He or she is the master of that idea. And at least I want to mention here two types of patents. One is product-based. For example, you developed insulin that can be taken through nasal. The second is product-based. For example, we developed a unique oximeter that is now being used to measure oxygen, where you can measure the instrument that is available now measures oxygen level and pulse. Maybe you can develop a oximeter which can develop, blood pressure plus oxygen plus pulse plus body temperature. So that's very effective. So that becomes product-based patents. And product-based patents comes from, has specific instruction to follow, right? So one is product-based patent, like for example, you go and buy a bottle of Coke and then we consume it. The process-based is you have to follow a specific protocol. As a society, there should always be two sides to a particular product, whether it is stem cells, whether it is gene therapy, whether it is transgenic. So patents are subject to critique because it leads to high level of secrecy, fierce competition, legal discourse, and excessive amount of monetary involvement. One of the major organizations is FDA, Food and Drug Administration, that has a sole in charge of our safety. For example, you see things are unfolding in front of us, this biggest pandemic. So you see that the two vaccines that came to public domain, they were first evaluated by Food and Drug Administration, this Moderna and Pfizer. And after the FDA gave the approval, so then we can take these vaccines. So FDA becomes an important institution to give clearance for utility. So role of FDA is very, very big. You see sometimes the beef is withdrawn, sometimes lettuce is withdrawn from a store because infected with E. coli or Salmonella typhimurium or poultry. So the quality control is governed by FDA. They do a very important role. Right? So FDA would include Center for Food Safety, drug evaluation, biological evaluation, devices, tobacco products, toxicological research. They have a huge umbrella. It's a very important and very big organization. They have to ensure the safety, right? Because it has to go in the public domain, whether we take it as a soft drink or we take it as a vaccine or we eat, right? So Food and Drug Administration, they have a therapeutic oversight. They do scientific review. They look at the various components. One of this hormone was bovine somatotropin, which was supposed to increase the milk product, but somehow this hormone, when it was given to animals, it could create inflammation, and which was not good for the animal because it could create mastitis. So we have to be very careful with patents. Okay, so conclusion is that animals that are genetically modified are not different from non-genetically modified. There is a huge system in place to protect genetic livestock. Animals are separated into pharmaceutical purpose or food industries, and there are pros and cons. So this is a small chapter with which we finish this chapter.